Hi everybody, Mr. Dorfy here again for our 10th live for kids and adults too. Um, we'll give people just a second to hop on and then we'll get started for our day. Um, the two-part lesson, I saw some really great. I totally just realized I forgot to post those. So I'll do that this afternoon. But we're gonna go back to a one kind of one and done, 1 hour little lesson for the time being, just to make sure that if you can't tune in for 2 times in a row, you can still complete something. But also feel free to pop on over if you miss any of these or you want to go back and redo some. You can pop on to my YouTube channel, just Jason Dorfy. I also have some progress videos, time-lapse videos of my personal art on there, so you can feel free to check those out. And just be on the lookout on Facebook for the posts. For some reason, I was having some technical difficulties yesterday, so the post didn't share to Facebook until much later in the evening. But I also post them on at Mr. Dorfy's Art Room, ES3, which is my classroom art page. So you can find them there too. So today, what we need for supplies, very limited, piece of blank paper, pencil, eraser, any sort of adhesive, whether it be glue stick or tape or white glue, pair of scissors, some magazines or newspaper, preferably color if you have it. If not, it could be a fun little thing too. And I'll show you what we're going to be looking for in our magazines. And they can be old magazines. I dug out some old magazines I have from 2017. Don't know why I still have those, but they're good to have for stuff like this. And then any material that you have that you might, or any art material. This project, you don't need anything specific, so it could be colored pencils, crayons, markers, whatever you have, or there's my hi Jared. So today, and I don't have a artist reference for this one, even though I probably could have. I just wanted to have some fun and flex our creative muscles. So hi Jeremiah, hi Josiah. So we're gonna flex our creative muscles today, and it's an activity just called creative problem solving. So you get a problem, a visual problem, and then solve it. So what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna get my workspace set up. What we're going to do today is just go through our magazines and just look for some pictures. And I already pulled some out. It could be, people. I pulled out this one. This one's going to be specific. I'll tell you why in just a second. Could be people. Could be animals. Could be things. Like a jar of a product, more animals, and I'll show you what we are going to do, and then I'll maybe cut out a couple examples. So what we want to do is today what we're going to do is we're going to take part of an image and then create a full drawing based off of just that part. So I really liked this kind of face on this girl. So I'm gonna cut this one out first just to start. And I'm gonna cut just around the outside first. I don't need to worry about fine details just yet. And I'm gonna have her, oh, I just cut off her arm. I'll glue it on. So I cut off her bottom half. So it's just the top half. And what we're gonna do is we are going to complete the rest of the drawing with a imaginative approach to that drawing. So we can get all of the finer details cut out. And like you saw, one of my pieces ripped off because magazines are super brittle, but the good thing is that we are gluing these on, so I'm just gonna cut that out separate. Really taking my time when I'm cutting. Getting rid of all of the background, because we can put in whatever background we want to. So now I have my little person, and I'm going to go on a little bit more. I'm a little bit particular. I don't want to see any of that background, so I'm going to cut in between the fingers. And like I said, part of mine ripped off. So I'm going to cut the extra piece off. And again, this is whatever you have. Find a picture that interests you. I immediately saw this picture of this girl with this like kind of scary face, or scared face, surprised face, whatever emotion you want to call it. And I thought, how cool would that be to have her be like, oh no, why is my bottom half have, and fill in the blank. And I pulled out some other pictures, you know, to kind of be idea starters so that you guys could at home, depending on what you have, you could find an image that interests you. So to go throw my scraps out. So, you know, I saw this guy and I was like, it'd be funny if his legs were cut off and then we had something else flying. Or, you know, I saw this dog with glasses on, and I thought if that dog head was on something else. And my products I pulled out, I was like, what if this jar of Aveeno had something else, you know, kind of growing out of it, if it's a plant or a monster coming out of the jar. Or even creating a picture around this picture. You know, I saw this picture of this chip picnic basket, and I was like, I wonder who would show up to that picnic. And even I pulled out this picture, because this could be a fun part too. If for anybody that's, you know, adult or an older kid watching, you know, just cutting a picture in half, and then completing the rest of the face. And it could be realistic, or it could be completely imaginative. And like I said, I didn't put a surrealist or artist, but the surrealist artists, which is like Salvador Dali, Max Ernst, Rene Magritte, they were all about, you know, imagination and creative and kind of wacky, crazy. So here's, you know, I could draw the rest of this face. So I have my image cut out, and what I'm going to do is very simply just glue it down. And I'm actually going to use one of my other magazine pieces. I want to make sure that the glue goes all the way to the edge and that my magazine or newspaper clipping. So I'm using a piece of scrap paper to make sure I don't get glue on the table. So I can go right to the edge. And I'm going to then just glue it down. I'm going to go right to almost to the top so that I have plenty of space to do whatever it is that I'm going to add to this magazine clipping. And I'm gonna make sure I get her other arm. Or actually, you know what? We're gonna leave the other arm off. We'll keep the other arm just in case. But that might have been a happy little accident, or a chance for me to solve this problem, this creative problem, in a different way. So, I made sure to, little thing that I always tell my students, once you have your glue, twist your glue down so that you don't have it stuck to your lid and it doesn't glue shut. All right, so now I have this picture, and I'm going to, using my pencil, I'm just going to start to draw out different ideas. I'm going to brainstorm. And I would love some comments with some ideas. You know what, my little girl, who now she's glued on the paper, you know, she's got an arm missing and she's got no legs. You know, what is down here? Is she wearing a princess dress? Is she got, you know, some sort of animal bottom, or is she stuck in cement, or whatever it may be. So if you're on and you have some ideas, you know, I love, my favorite animal, oddly, is an octopus. So, you know, I'm thinking maybe octopus tentacles as legs, or maybe like a princess dress, or maybe she's got like a football player's legs, or, you know, a hook, or maybe she's a kid, like maybe she's Tinkerbell, or maybe she's Captain Hook. So feel free, if you have any ideas, to toss them into the comments. I'd love some input. As I wait for maybe a couple comments, these videos are going to go back to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We started this week Wednesday because my school was on spring break. So Wednesday was our first day back. So I'm glad to be back doing these. Wooden legs, I like that. Maybe we'll do like a pirate. I like that. And what I'm actually going to do too, I like to have pictures to draw from. Whenever in my classroom, whenever I have the kids do any sort of, you know, imaginative drawing, or things, you know, where they have a significant amount of choice, I always have a folder full of just anything I could think of that they might think of. And if they think of something I don't think of, I print them stuff, just so they have a picture. Because a lot of times kids will be like, well, I really want to draw like this. I love this idea of this pirate, this wooden legs. But, you know, maybe they don't know how to draw a pirate. So I put pictures so that kids have some sort of reference. Because sometimes it's hard to think in our brain what that looks like. And yeah, so we are going to start with some wooden legs, and I'm going to just draw out. Pirates kind of have those big poofy pants. And when I'm drawing, again, I've said this in many of my videos, but I'm going to say it again. Draw light until you get it right. So I hold my pencil a little bit further back. If you need to hold it further back, that just helps you not hold it so tight. And then it makes it so that you don't draw too dark. If you have the control and you don't press too hard, holding close, that's fine too. But you want to draw light because it's easier then to erase. And yes, Amanda, I am an art teacher. I'm an art teacher at Rochester Prep ES3, and I have a couple of my students on here. I saw Jeremiah and Josiah are on here. I heard that my son might be on here. And Mason's been on here. So I'm going to draw the pants. And the pants sometimes have cuffs. So little details that make the drawing a little bit more realistic. So I got the cuffs to my pants. And then we'll get those wooden legs. And Jennersons, should we have one wooden leg or two wooden legs? I need your ideas. One or two, Jennersons. And Amanda, I teach K3. Next year the school's going to be K4. I taught high school for 9 years. And I made a switch this past year to K3 elementary art. And it has been a blast. And I love my school. I love the kids. And it's been fun. And opening the imagination of little kids is something that cannot be matched. So I'm going to start drawing one peg leg while they let me know if they want one or two. So I'm just drawing that leg. So there's my wooden leg. And again, whatever you have, I really want you guys to be able to, obviously you're not going to have the same picture, and you don't have to be drawing what I'm drawing. This is the chance for me to see your creativity when you guys post these for me, and then I'll share them in our virtual gallery. But whatever your creative mind comes up with. So I have that. I'm going to do a boot and a sock on the other one because I haven't seen a comment. Pirates sometimes have boots. And so I'm going to get my... And sometimes they have striped socks. I don't know why they have striped socks. I don't like that boot. And this is the point of us drawing light until we get it right. That boot just wasn't right, so I'm going to erase it. And I drew it lightly, so that's okay. They sometimes have these little, like, clog shoes. And they always got a little buckle, I feel like. And I'm looking at pictures of pirates. And two legs. I just saw that now. So I'm gonna erase because I drew it light. I like my inputs. I'm gonna make sure that I have my 2 legs. So I'm gonna put 2 pegs, but I'm still gonna put a boot on one of the peg legs. Just because pirates gotta have some shoes. All right, so there's the 2 peg legs. And now for the arm. I'm immediately thinking, I always put my octopus in somehow. So I'm thinking of like Pirates of the Caribbean. I can't remember the character's name, but there was the guy that had the octopus face and whatnot. So, but maybe some ideas for what her arm could be. We're kind of going with this pirate theme, and I'm going to put a pirate hat on her. And just incorporating that. And I can also think of other details. I like where I'm going in terms of a theme. So we can have a background that's a pirate ship. I'm even tentacle arms, perfect, right where I was going. So I have this other arm, and I'm just gonna make this be a big, crazy tentacle. is going to be, I'm going to put, this is when I talk about details, you know, little things to make it look a little more realistic and help the person that's looking at it know more what it is. So octopus have those little suction cups. So I'm going to put those little suction cups on. So there's my tentacle arm. And now a wooden hand. Let's see if I can, do I have, if I have an X-Acto blade, and I do, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna cut off the other hand if it'll come up. It won't come up. All right, we'll incorporate something else for you, Jared. We'll get something else in there. So I'm gonna just, while we wait for some ideas, maybe for other details we could add to my girl that's turning into a pirate. You know, what other things might she have on her? What might other details am I missing that we could maybe add? What other parts to her costume? And again, if you have a drawing, throw in the comments what you're drawing. I'd love to know. We could maybe brainstorm together. Brainstorming is just coming up with ideas. And like I was saying earlier, please feel free to share these videos with anybody that you can think of. Obviously, I started them for my students at ES3, but word kind of spread and I got all sorts of people doing them. And when you finish with them, please make sure you drop them in the comments, and so I can put them in our virtual gallery. I know a lot of people that look forward to seeing what the kids created for their lesson for the day. My dog is barking because she's downstairs and she's nervous to go up the stairs. She's a wackadoo. This time at home has made her very dependent on Daddy. Lolly up. So I just have been going over my drawing that I've done so far with black marker or black pen, just to make it look a little darker. You know, if it's a peg leg, it's probably wood. So I'm going to add some wood grain to my peg leg. Got my peg legs. And I might put on her shoulder a little parrot. shoulder. All right. And when I'm done with the black outline, then I'm just going to erase. Because depending on what material you're using, sometimes the pencil graphite can mix with the material that you're trying to, and do a good job gluing that part down. So we're going to add just a little bit more glue. Twist that back down. The pencil graphite can sometimes just get your colors a little muddy. Colored pencils and crayons not so much, but markers, the water component makes the graphite bleed. So there I now have my girl that's turning into a puppet, or a pirate. And I'm gonna actually add some background. So, you know, whatever your character or your creation is doing, maybe put a background on it. I'm thinking maybe if you some comments want to hop on, where is my pirate gonna be? Is she gonna be on a ship? Is she gonna be on a rock claiming a new deserted island for herself? Or is she going to be somewhere completely different? Is she going to be, you know, on planet Mars, and, you know, she flew her ship to the moon? An island, I love that. So I'm actually going to we'll do a little rock. So we'll have her be on a little rock. And just erase because I'm drawing lightly. I'm trying to draw a little bit dark because I gotta find out some better lighting in here. My studio is beautifully lit, but not always for videos. So I have my rock, and I'm gonna do some ocean in the background too. And then I'm actually going to put a little other island in the background. And something I try to teach my students too is the idea of overlapping. If something is in front of something else, it means that you don't see parts of it. So obviously I drew that little island, I drew around it. If you need to, you can draw through it and then just erase the part that's going to be covered up. On a ship in space. Well, you know what? We're going to incorporate space somehow in there, Jennisons. We'll put a moon in the sky with maybe a spaceship. So these can be as wild and crazy as your imagination can take you. It's a little too close to the head. And again, I'm changing this as I go, and that's okay. Maybe we'll put a little space, like a little UFO. And we had the idea for the island, so we're gonna do maybe a palm tree. We'll do sorts of palm leaves. And then I'll erase what I don't see because it's in front. So now I have my background started. So I'm going to now outline that in my marker. You don't have to outline in marker. I just sort of like to. I think it adds some a little bit of finish. I'm going to add some craters into my moon. And some dots that are just dark spots in the moon. Make it look like Swiss cheese. So there's my moon. Yeah, the face, she kind of looks like she's a pirate that's going to be abducted by aliens. I like that. So here's, I'm just outlining, and as I'm going to, I'm thinking about little details, like maybe my spaceship has some lights on it. So I'm just going to add some little, let's see if this makes it a little easier to see. There we go. I do all sorts of tests before I go on my lives, and then the lighting in here changes. I love the lighting, but for videos it's not always perfect. So there is my spaceship, and I'm gonna just outline my palm tree leaves. I can maybe add some lines in my tree for like the lines of the tree trunk. Maybe I'll throw some coconuts in the palm tree. All little details that we sometimes in the rush of getting done forget. So for my earlier finishers, I always say, go back and think about what other details can you add. And we usually sit and we brainstorm for a minute. You know, what could you add? With my second and third graders, we were working on, before schools closed, we were working on a Faith Ringgold story quilt, and the kids were, you know, drawing buildings of places they wanted to fly over, and in the story the girl flies over buildings and then she owns them. So they were doing a lot of buildings, and I was like, well, what, you know, a building might have what on it? Excuse me. And we talked, some of the kids were like, well, you know, a sign or lights or, you know, doors or windows. So, you know, you can always just brainstorm. And again, I say having pictures of some examples of things, you don't have to draw them exactly, but it really allows you to just get some ideas. And however you choose to interpret those ideas, that's fine. But it's just a way for you to, you know, something you maybe can't see in your brain, but as soon as you get a picture of it or something that gets your brain moving in that direction, right, so now I think I'm ready to start adding some color. So I have my girl who's turning into a pirate with an octopus arm, and she's on an island and she's being abducted by aliens. Who would have thought that's where we were going with this drawing? But I love it. And I'm going to actually add, I just realized I want to add some of the details I was talking about for my palm tree. So at this point, whatever materials you have, if it's colored pencils, if it's markers, if it's crayons, watercolors, whatever you have, feel free to start using them to color this in. I am going to start with some marker because that's what I got. I have plenty of other supplies, but they're all tucked away. So, you know, and the fun thing about this is this drawing is obviously, you know, out of our imagination. And one thing I try to teach kids, not to stifle their creativity, but, you know, if you're trying to make something, you know, look like something, making sure you're using the right colors. But for this, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to start with my water. And I'm actually going to put, this says it's light clear blue, but it looks a little bit green, but that's okay. Depending on the material you're using, markers and crayons and colored pencils, colors mix. And you can layer colors. So, and if you saw what I was doing, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. When you're coloring, I always, even in my own personal drawings, I create what's called the bumper. And it's outlining the outline of my shape that I want to color in, and then filling in inside of that. It helps you stay in the lines. Helps you stay in the lines and keep things neat. So I have my, you know, my green, and I'm going to layer on top with a little bit of blue. And the colors are going to mix together to be this kind of seafoam green blue color. And it's going to be fun. I'll keep going. And same thing, I'm using those bumpers. Outlining the shape I want first, going around the outside, and then filling in. So now I have my C. Now I'll do my rock, which I'll do gray. And again, going on the outside. And when I'm going along the outside, outside, it's really taking your time, taking that extra second to make sure you're staying inside the lines. And then filling it in. And this marker is actually dying, but I think that might be actually a cool thing because it'll give it some texture of a rock. Because rocks a lot of times have texture. And we've been learning a lot about texture. My last video, my two-part video was all about texture and pattern. And texture and pattern has been coming up a lot in our videos. Texture is just the way something looks like it feels or the way it feels. And pattern is just something that repeats over and over again in a repeating fashion. So there is my rock. And I'll do my sand. That's a perfect sand color. What color is this? Brown gray. That's so boring. I love fun colors. And I love even more fun colored names. And again, the bumper. And with sand, I can do all sorts of things to add details to this. I could go back in with a darker brown, and I could add some dots to look like the texture of sand. And I could even create a shadow underneath the tree. And since I know Jeremiah is watching, I know that from our still life drawing we created shadows under our pumpkins and gourds. So you should know how to do this, and you can show Josiah. But I'm just adding dots to my sand, and now there's the texture. And I can use a gray to make the shadow under a palm tree. Now my background, my sky, I did blue for the water. I'm trying to think what color I should add for my background, my sky. Maybe if some of you want to pop on some ideas for a color for the sky. I'm going to get some green for my palm tree leaves. While you guys give me an idea for a color, because I am not sure what I want to do. I also say many a time, make sure you're using a material that's appropriate for, I have some small areas, so use the smaller side or a small marker. If you have multiple size markers, you don't want a big paintbrush to be painting a little area. Same with markers. If you have different size markers, get it. If you're trying to color in a little area with colored pencils, make sure you have a nice sharpened pencil. It will really make your life easier and help you stay inside those lines. Blackish purple and dark blue. You know what? We're going to combine those two. Because we have our moon, so the moon is going to be lighting up the sky. So maybe the light from the moon can be one of the colors, and it can blend into the other color. And all blending of colors is layering. Putting one color on top of the other. All right. Oh, almost forgot a little area. And I'm going to do the background next because that's going to be a big area that's going to be, I want to make sure I go around everything well. So we said dark blue and blackish purple. So we're going to find violet and then a nice ink blue. That sounds fun and dark. Oh yeah. Dark blue. Nice deep blue. And again, keeping those bumpers. I'm really excited to see what everybody came up with. And I'm super excited I'm able to do this drawing with you guys today. I was going to do a project like this in school, and I was bummed that, oh, the idea is lost. But I'm glad I get to share it all with you. Because we're staying connected via the World Wide Web. Taking my time. And I'll show you how we're going to blend those two colors together. Because for your sky, you might want to blend two colors together. And this is how you would do sunsets. And it's just all in how hard you push down on your color. So if you want a color to get lighter, you just don't push as hard. And then your color you want to get darker, you just press a little harder. So these videos will go right up to my YouTube channel. I was having to edit and do all sorts of craziness and downloading and this and that, but I actually set up my YouTube channel a little bit easier, and I created a template for my videos. So now all I have to do is just plop this video in, and then within, about an hour, the video is uploaded to YouTube. So if you maybe forgot how to do something, or you want to go back and watch those, you can. And again, it's just, my YouTube channel is Jason Dorphy. There's 10 other videos of these, or 9 others. And there's also videos of me doing time lapse. Somebody was like, you should do those like on TikTok. I have a TikTok and I have no idea how to use it. So I'm just sticking with my YouTube. So I'm going to do that blackish purple. So I'm going to do my purple around my moon. And as I go out, I'm not going to press as hard. So you can see how I'm not pressing as hard around as I was around the center of that. So it gets lighter as it goes out. And what that will do is then I can do the same thing in the opposite direction. So I'll go and not press as hard. Go back and blend with my purple. And it's going to create that dark bluish, blackish purple that you guys, I combined of your two ideas. This blending works really well with, obviously, the markers I'm using, which, Jeremiah, you have these markers. You have the same markers I'm using. And be sure to thank your mama again, because those are nice markers. You're very lucky to have them. But you can do this with colored pencil, you can do this with crayon, even Crayola markers. Those are what I have in my classroom, and I've gotten pretty darn good at learning to blend those even too. Being washable, they obviously are water soluble, so you can mix them together pretty easy. So I'm going to keep going on this. I'm going to add some craters to my moon. And should the moon be just a normal color, or should it be a funky color? As I do the craters, I'm just adding the craters that are darker. So I'm adding I'm going to put some shadows in there too, just because. What color should I make my moon? A funky color. Well, come on. Give me a funky color. Like pink or red or booger green or what color are you thinking? Or orange, gray and pink. Okay, we're gonna do that. I like that one. We'll do pink. So I'm just gonna go on top of that because the gray is gonna mix with the pink I'm putting on top. And it'll make it look now it's got like a little shadow of the moon. And now I'll do his pants, or her pants. Her pants. Wow. You guys come up with the color for her tentacle. How about yellow and green for her tentacle, Jennersons? We'll do that. And I'll find a real funky bright green to do her tentacle with. Like a yellow green. I would say chartreuse, but I'm not sure everyone knows that color. That's one of my favorite colors, actually, chartreuse. All right, where is my chartreuse? I have too many markers. Jeremiah, there's all my markers. I've told you about that many before. I got lots. So let's do spring green. That's a nice bright green. Alright, so I'm going to just finish up these last little details, and I'll make sure to post my picture, but I would love to have all of your pictures along with that. So please either send me a message, put in the comments, and tag me all of your pictures so that I can see and then share them and post them as to what you came up with. So I'm gonna go finish up this little guy or gal, but I'm looking forward to seeing everything that you all came up with. So again, please in the comments feel free to put down and post a picture of the artwork that you came up with. Feel free to go to at Mr. Dorfy's Art Room ES3 or my Instagram at Jason Dorfy. Yes, Jeremiah, I will bring some markers in for you to use. I would love nothing more. I will show you how to use them correctly too. Go to my YouTube channel at Jason Dorfy. At Jason Dorfy on Instagram, or my classroom art page at Mr. Dorfy's Art Room ES3 to make sure you are up to date and know what materials you may need for the next live. But thank you all for watching, and comment. I want to see your artwork. So please share. And I will see you all on Monday. Look for a post on Sunday with the information from Monday's class. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Be well, stay safe. Love you guys.